What's going on, guys? It's Dustin here with Custom Offsets. Custom Offsets TV on the YouTube. We are live on location in some little nature park thing.
Yeah. Syracuse, Utah.
Yeah, in Syracuse, Utah. We are here with the one and only BugBmx.
Howdy.
So we're gonna sit down. We've got a couple questions for him here. We're gonna go over them, and I think you're gonna answer them, I hope, anyway.
I'll do my best.
Up first and foremost, tell us, what is your name and what do you drive?
Real name?
If you're good for that.
Real name is Kyler Manning, but a lot of you can call me Bug. Go by BugBmx, and I drive a 2020 F350 Limited and a 99 Volkswagen Beetle.
Right on, man. What got you into building, right? And we're talking vehicles in general.
Yeah.
You know, what was it that inspired you to get into that?
It was a way to customize something, and I looked at it as, how can I be different than someone else? That was like my main goal, is just wanting to stand out from everyone else at a car or truck show.
Sure, right on. And I know we talked a little bit before too. I know your dad had quite a bit of influence on that as well.
Yep, he built quite a few vehicles back in the day for SEMA, and they were all, same thing, really unique.
Right on. What is it that you enjoy most about building?
Just going as crazy as I can, really. Seeing what I can do to make someone laugh, or to make someone go, wow, or why would this kid do that? Any of the, yeah.
Apparently, you don't really like stuff that crazy though, right?
No, I like to keep it almost stock, but not stock.
The Beetle's pretty much stock from the factory.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's. I think the only thing I did aftermarket was probably, I think, just the mirrors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing that didn't come with it.
I didn't know VW was hooked up with Archon for OEM Plus, you know.
Pick the best, dog.
Do you have anyone who's influenced you in terms of your builds or customizing your vehicles? You know, is there anyone that you're like, I want to be like that guy?
Honestly, I don't know if I can say there's someone specific that I'm like, wow, they do just some crazy stuff. I really just like all builds in general, anything that's, you know, it could be real simple and modest to just something that's crazy, and I'll just kind of pick what I like out of each build and kind of do my own twist to it, really.
Yeah, right on. So take us all the way back to the beginning. Tell us, where did your passion for building vehicles start? Like, what was the first build you did? Kind
of just back where we were earlier, that Duramax, just putting the lift, wheels, tires on it. It had those really ugly mirrors that the Chevys came with, like the accordion looking mirrors.
The little extendo mirrors that look like things that we can't talk about on YouTube, you know?
Yeah, can we find out who designed those?
I don't know.
Come on. So yeah, just, you know, changing little stuff like that. I fell in love with being able to customize stuff, and it took off from there. It was really, really fun. And now anything from a car, a truck, a motorcycle, nothing can stay stock. Nothing.
Which again, we can tell. You know?
This one's, remember, a little stock.
So tell us, man, why trucks? Why not like vacations or houses or bikes, or I guess why trucks and diesel Beetles?
Honestly, vacations, houses, wedding rings, all that stuff would probably be a lot cheaper than the trucks and the Beetles. I mean, I'm honestly probably like 300K into the Beetle, as you can tell by looking at it. So yeah, I should start taking vacations instead of building stuff, but I enjoy it. It's super fun.
But how else would you mob around town with your wheels and tires outside of your wheel wells on vacation? You know,
you can't drive a house in style like you can a Beetle.
I don't know, so. Banks Engineering does some pretty cool stuff with motorhomes.
True, yeah. That's what we need. We need to get these wheels on one of their motorhomes.
That would be wild.
Maybe even toot it a little bit. I don't think Gil Banks would be down for that at all, but we'll ask.
Listen, I know the guys over there pretty well, and I'm very confident they would not be, but it would be fun.
Just asking would be nice.
So let's transition a little bit then. What's coming down the pipeline? What do you got going on right now? I know you said obviously you had that 4th gen, you sold it. You just bought a 2020 Power Stroke. So what's coming down the road?
I mean, obviously there'll always be little ends and odd vehicles like the Beetle that I enjoy doing, but coming down, that's coming in real hot and spicy, would be the new Ford build.
Okay. What do you got going on there?
We got a custom one-off 30-inch lift going on it. It's gonna have king coilovers all the way around it, 30 by 16 forged wheels, 42-inch tires. It's going to be a frame off build as well. So we're going to pull the motor, pull the trans, we're going to sandblast, powder coat the frame, axles, all the suspension. It's going to be just, I want someone to look at it and go, wow, there was a lot of time that went into this truck, and or they can look at it and be like, wow, that was a waste of money. Either two would honestly make me happy.
Right on. Are you going to SEMA this year?
That's the plan, yes sir,
Right
we'll
on,
be there.
Right on. We will also be there, so it's a great time for us to link back up again, maybe
Perfect.
hang out, you know, do a little bit of YouTube magic, you know.
It would be cool filming us talking about it at the truck, and then you guys can film the truck being done.
Yeah, right on, absolutely. So what's been your biggest setback thus far with any of your builds? You know, just in terms of obviously being a content creator, it's a little bit different than just your average Joe building a truck, you know.
The biggest setback lately is getting materials. As you know, a lot of people watching this are aware of. Just a few weeks ago, it was hard to get lumber. Steel prices went up. I had to order all the steel for the suspension. Everything's going to be tubed. It's going to have solid 2-inch 4-link bars front and rear. The rear is going to be triangulated. I bought that, or I paid for it, you know, a few months ago, and I just barely received it.
Holy cow.
Still waiting on, you know, wheels. People are backed up. Coilovers got to be built. I know tires, people were backed up for a minute. So stuff like that. That's been probably the biggest setback.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me, what do your friends think?
No, they enjoy it. I love them coming to truck shows with me and whatnot. And none of them care about cars or trucks.
Sure.
Like, they all have their own thing they're into, but of course they're the homies. I want them coming with on the shows, being able to experience it, whatnot. But we'll be at a show and someone will be like, oh my goodness, that's BugBmx. And my homie will straight up say, nah, screw that kid. His vehicles are stupid. Like, man, why do you say that? He's like, well, I'm your friend, I gotta keep you humbled. So no, they're great. I love them to death. But yeah, they enjoy the environment, but they probably like the Beetle more than anything.
Because it's just so rowdy.
Yeah,
you know?
It is rowdy for sure.
What about your family? What's your mom think about everything you got going on?
My mom's probably my biggest fan. I think.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah, shout out to mom. Part of me thinks she looks at the stuff I do and shakes her head, and then the other part of me goes, oh, that is my son. So, I don't know. I'll ask her, like, Mom, do I make you proud?
I think part of it stems back to, though, I know we talked a little bit earlier today because we've been together most of the morning here, but you talked about how, you know, early on in the YouTube years that your mom was a big supporter and, you know, had kind of pushed you along. So I think you're probably doing okay in that regard, you know? Yeah,
she definitely bugged me enough to make the first video. I really did it just because, you know, it's like being in school. Your grades were bad, they would sit and nag on you. Okay, finally to get your grades up because you're sick of hearing it. Same thing for YouTube. She would sit and bug me to make videos, tell me to, you know, do pretty well. Finally did it just so I could stop hearing her say it, and here we are.
Right on. All right, man. So obviously you've built or been a part of one SEMA build before. You're working on a second one. So what does that process look like? So like start from step one, sourcing a truck, and take me all the way through the whole process.
Yeah. So like you said, finding the truck in today's market is probably the hardest thing right now. But once you find the truck, then it's just straight shot from there. Find a rendering company, give them your vision. That's gonna look really good to companies that you want to be sponsored on the truck, whether it's Custom Offsets, Archon, any of those. They're gonna wanna see what your vision is. You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna build this big truck, it's gonna have these wheels and tires. Because then, you know, it's kind of hard to believe you. When they see that you took the time, you paid for a rendering, they're gonna go, okay, this guy's serious, you know, let's jump on board of this build.
What's a render cost on average?
Average, you're anywhere from $500 to $600.
Holy cow, okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, when a company sees that you took the time to pay for, you know, a digital image, it just shows you're a little more serious. But after you get the rendering, then you want to start firing that out to companies you want to work with for wheels, tires, wrap, suspension.
SuspensionCustomOffsets.com.
You can get everything I just listed with Custom Offsets, by the way. And then after that, you just start building it all together. One of those, you know, several companies you work with will most likely have a booth at SEMA that can get you in their booth or a spot there in general. And yeah, it's a crazy, crazy experience. One of the coolest things I've done so far. The last one we did, it was a 1-month SEMA crunch. I have a little more time on this one right now, being 4 months, still not enough. Still, you know, I was at the shop late last night, cutting off factory brackets on the frame and axles that we won't be using. But it's a lot of work. It's not just, it just doesn't happen overnight. And everyone will be like, oh, you had a full year for, you know, a SEMA build, how come you're crunching it right now? You won't understand it until you do it.
Well, and a lot of times it's like, you can't get parts. A lot of times it's not, you know, I know when we built the K350, it wasn't that we weren't ahead of schedule, it's that we couldn't get parts in quick enough to get them put on.
Exactly, you know? And I'm on that boat right now. So we're pushing it, we're gonna make it though. We did in 2019, we will this year. It's gonna be wild this year. You know, them skipping a year and it's gonna be rowdy. I think, didn't they expand a bunch of stuff down there too?
I think so, yeah. They ate up a bunch of empty space and put some more vendor spots in there. So it should be big. This will be my first SEMA year, so I'm super excited. It's gonna be rowdy, and then of course we'll have to link up again down there, like we said, and
absolutely
just hang out, make some more YouTube magic. All right, cool. Hey man, thank you so much for your time again.
Absolutely,
I appreciate you letting us come hang out here and taking us for a rip in the old Beetle. So
we lived, right?
Yeah, we didn't die, so that's
we got
good.
Close a few times.
Yeah, there was a couple bumps that got a little sketchy. So with that, we're gonna wrap this one up. If you guys need anything, wheels, tires, suspension, performance parts, lighting, we carry it all, bumpers even, you can find all of that customoffsets.com. And with that, we're gonna take off. See you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.